Today, I'll be answering the top 10 most frequently asked questions I get from potential buyers considering a move to Boise, Idaho. And if you stick around till the end, you'll hear the question I get asked most often. It might be a question you have yourself. Otherwise, in no particular order, let's start with number 1. Tell me more about the weather is one of the top questions I get asked by buyers looking to relocate to the Boise area. If you're not from a cold weather state, snow can be scary. But here's the thing about southern Idaho. Yes, we do get snow, but it's nothing like the image you've created in your head of frozen highways or digging yourself out from 4 feet of snow in your driveway. For example, this year, we had our first snowfall on December 1st. The neighborhood roads were a little slushy in the morning when everyone left for work and kids headed to school, but the main roads were already plowed by the time most of us needed to drive anywhere. By the afternoon, it was just a thin blanket in yards and sidewalks. And that's pretty typical. You will have a few weeks throughout winter where snowfall is more continuous, so you get some snowpack. But with the exception of the winter of 2016-17, it's never overwhelming. My advice to you would be to buy the right clothes so you're dressed for the cold temperatures and to get snow tires put on your vehicle. And do that in November before it snows for the first time. Do you need it? Probably not. But if you have any serious driving around the valley, it's nice for peace of mind. Let's back up here for a second. So I can call out the winter of 2016 and 17. It was a completely abnormal winter that year. Snow started to fall in early December, and it never really stopped until February. Because temperatures remained so cold, the snow never melted. It just hardened, and then more snow would fall onto that. Here's a picture of my husband and I about a month into this winter, trying to knock a foot of snow that had accumulated on our roof, just so that we could keep the satellite dish clear to watch TV. But again, I stress this was an unusual year. We had 6 snow days that year where school was canceled. So we have a bus system here, and if the buses can't safely navigate the roads, there will be no school. But to give context, in the 5 years since Snowmageddon, we've had 2 total, like 2 snow days across all 5 years. So now we've established that you can survive the relatively mild winters of southern Idaho. So let's go home shopping. What do you think the next logical question I get would be? Outside of the home purchase, what am I going to pay in property taxes each year? And the answer is, it depends. It depends on where you purchase your next home. Treasure Valley is made up of Canyon County and Ada County. Each county has its own tax assessors, but then even within a single county, you will have different tax districts depending on the city where you live. For instance, the city of Boise and the city of Eagle are both located within Ada County, but have different tax levy amounts because their tax districts are different. The city of Eagle's most recent tax levy amount was 0.45%, so less than 0.5%, whereas the city of Boise can have a varying total levy. In older parts, it is 0.95%, so just under 1% of the assessed property value. Then in newer areas such as Harris Ranch, it can be 1.24% because of added community infrastructure district, otherwise known as a SID. So again, taxes will be dependent upon where you purchase. You didn't think we were done talking about property taxes, did you? In Idaho, we pay property taxes in arrears, much like most of the nation. What does that mean exactly? In 2023, property taxes are not due until the end of 2023. Usually the first payment is due around the 3rd week of December. If you elect to pay in 2 parts, then the second half of the bill would be due in June of 2024. Some states follow a different calendar year, so buyers moving from that state aren't familiar with the January to December tax timeline. One last thing about property taxes in Idaho, which may be different than tax rules in your state. In Idaho, we have a tax relief program called the homeowner's exemption. It exempts $125,000 from your home's total assessed value on primary residences only. So let's say your home is assessed at $500,000, then your total taxable value would be $375,000. Before I continue to a topic other than property taxes, hi, my name is Erica Toffel, Global Real Estate Advisor with Group 1 Sotheby's International Realty. I specialize in helping you relocate to Boise, Idaho, or any of its surrounding cities. If you need help with any of your real estate needs, reach out. My information is on the screen. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. If you're watching on your TV, scan the QR code that is located on your screen to reach out to me directly. And please leave a comment below. I love engaging with you. Healthcare in Idaho is good. We have personally experienced a wide range of services in my family, from serious emergencies to surgeries to routine care. And we have always been happy with the care we receive. However, if a patient needs more advanced care that cannot be provided in the Treasure Valley, then they will be referred to larger cities like Salt Lake or Seattle. 55% of our insurance coverage in the state is a Blue Cross or Blue Shield plan. Our next largest insurer is Humana with 13%. Why am I mentioning insurance companies? Because there are some larger systems in other states that may not be found here. Kaiser Permanente is one such example. So I get questions surrounding healthcare and insurance quite a lot. Our major hospital systems here are St. Alphonsus and St. Luke's. Let's talk about something more fun. Do people use pools in Idaho? Yes, we do. We have around 5 or 6 months of pool-friendly weather, but they aren't common in most homes. Whereas you might find a $500,000 home in Vegas with a pool in the yard, that will not be the case in Idaho. Many luxury properties will have them, but certainly not all. You're more likely to find a community pool than a community full of pools. It is Idaho after all, and pools are seasonal here. So along with a shortened pool season, you'll have additional pool maintenance where you open the pool in the spring and you close it in the fall. What do I mean, close it in the fall? Someone blows air through the pipes to get rid of any residual water and then plugs the pipes up. This way, any trapped water doesn't freeze during the winter, expand and burst your pipes. Then in the spring, you remove the plugs and open your valves and you're all set to swim. So long as we are discussing things that need to be blown out in the winter, sprinklers would fall into that category. But that is not the question I get. I get a question about how irrigation works in the Treasure Valley because it's a little different than in other parts of the country. In Boise and the surrounding cities, irrigation water is diverted from the Boise River and distributed to local neighborhoods throughout the area. It's a pretty complex delivery system spanning 1,500 miles of canals and laterals. Depending on the neighborhood, an irrigation assessment may be wrapped up in your HOA dues, or you may pay a water district directly. As a subtopic of irrigation, I do get questions about our lawns here. What happens to them during the winter? And they go dormant. They turn yellowish, they look kind of dead. But then in spring, they green right back up. When I get questions about community diversity, it's not what you might think. I will be driving a client around on a property tour when they ask, why do the homes look so different within the same neighborhood? It is very common for communities in the Treasure Valley to have a building team that is maybe made up of 10 or 15 different builders. They each have their own floor plans and exterior elevations, so the home landscape looks diverse. One home may be modern and its neighbor may be Cape Cod. Quantity builders like CBH or Toll Brothers, however, will go in and develop an entire community themselves. So the only option within that neighborhood are their floor plans. Obviously, those streets look a little more uniform. Pop quiz. Name a major hospital system in the Treasure Valley. A, St. Alphonsus, B, Boise General, C, General Hospital, D, Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital. First one with the correct answer in the comments below will get a video response from me. HOAs are pretty common in the Treasure Valley, regardless of where you purchase. The newer developments are almost all guaranteed to have them. So I get the question, what do HOA dues cover? And once again, it depends. Some neighborhoods will offer more amenities, from pools and clubhouses to walking paths and fishing ponds. Some communities may have all of it with higher dues that go along with it, and some may have none of it, but still charge a nominal fee to maintain sidewalks. So it is a really good question to ask when purchasing a home so you know where your funds are going. And if your home purchase is part of an HOA, which it most likely will be, then definitely check out the CC&Rs, which are the rules and regulations for the neighborhood you are buying into. Do this before going under contract, or at the very least, before your inspection contingency is up. I cannot even begin to tell you how many times I get asked about hobby farms and homesteads. If you don't know the difference, a hobby farm is just that, a hobby. It is not a main source of income or resources. A homesteader, on the other hand, wants the option to live off the grid. They want to produce and raise everything they might need to thrive. So why do I get so many questions about it? I believe it's because if you're making the move to Idaho from somewhere more densely populated, you think, why not fully commit? Why not go all in on that pioneer spirit? But honestly, hobby farms are a full-time job. We may start our initial conversation around the possibility of a hobby farm, but ultimately, once we get into the nitty-gritty of what it would entail between the land to manage and the livestock to care for, somebody inevitably jumps ship. So we find them a home with a large yard instead. Honestly, when a family decides to move to Idaho, it is not uncommon for their home search to evolve into something completely different than where we started. I personally know of only one family who moved here with the intention of becoming hobby farmers, purchased acreage, and did just that. Now they raise cows, alpacas, llamas, and chickens. We have finally reached the most frequently asked question I get about purchasing a home in Idaho. Erica, what are your thoughts on home values and appreciation? Gosh, if I knew that, I'd have invested all of my money into real estate when I first moved to Idaho 7 years ago. Unprecedented times changed the landscape of home buying across the nation forever. Obviously, it was not isolated to just Idaho, but locally we felt the impact of global events as people flooded into our state and our home prices soared. Funny how a state with such a relatively small population could have exploded onto the scene in such a big way. So revisiting the question again, what are my thoughts on home values and appreciation? At present, they continue to climb. Now just at a more normal rate. Slow and steady appreciation will likely continue, barring any events that we can't otherwise predict. For more videos about relocating to Boise, Idaho, and real estate tips in general, make sure to check out one of the videos on the screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.